are here. Let's go. One moment. Let me see. James is also here. All right, all caught up now. I'm really curious how my next video is going to be received because I barely even talk about narcissism. It's more just my ideas on free will. So that'll be interesting. Is on free will. Yeehaw is here. What's going on? Oh, god damn it. There we go. Okay. I always start out my lives like that, with it also playing on my computer. Very unfortunate. I couldn't think of a good poll idea today. Also, I'm in a mood. I don't know why. I just feel fucking depressed. I hate my life. Not actually. Well, Discord moment, Isabel. What's going on? Hey, early morning barking. What's going on, dude? We still gotta go live this week. I'd probably be down for oh. Hi, have you ever watched the Little Shaman's videos on narcissism in YouTube? Yes, a long time ago. I liked them at first. I didn't think they were that bad. Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? I'm sorry, your name's hard for me to pronounce. Zorka? I apologize. I can't do this again. I tried to pronounce she's name so many times. Anyways, but yeah. Yeah, I watched Little Shaman before. I didn't... Oh, hi. What's up, Z-Line? I did not like... She made this video that she was like, real therapy session or counseling session with somebody with comorbid BPD and TJ Tampa, what's happening? She's like, yeah, live therapy session with somebody with BPD and NPD. And it wasn't real. It was just like faked and staged. And it gave a really inaccurate opinion of comorbid NPD and BPD. Like 50% of people with NPD have comorbid BPD. Well, up to that much. It's estimated around there. And after that, I wasn't a fan of her. I stopped watching her content because I was like, well, if you're willing to do that and just blatantly lie, then I don't have much to gain from watching her stuff. But the other stuff that I watched, like, wasn't bad. The interview with a man who sounded like a jerk. It's a possibility. Like, it was really weird. It was like this person being like, I control you. It was fucking bizarre. And there was like a alleged voice modifier on it. Are you still not smoking? I'm on 3-day myself. I vape weed though. I relapsed. I'm not done trying to quit, but I did relapse. I went 2 weeks. And naturally, same thing always fucking happens. Somebody offers a hit of a vape, and I'm like, hey, I got no impulse control. Let's go. Let's go. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But I have significantly decreased my nicotine intake. I'm at like the lowest level right now. Try to quit weed this week. It's about 13 hours. Rich, you got this. Don't give up, bro. Voodoo Lamp. Hi, what's good advice to spot a covert narcissist? It's Zori. Okay, I will pronounce it Zori from now on. Well, that's the thing, is that like with narcissists in general, the hiding the self aspect of it is so predominant. Like, I'm never sharing my true thoughts and feelings half the time. And like the smart ones are going to know that like being like, oh yeah, I'm better than literally everybody, is not the way to get the self-esteem juice that they need. But I do have a video coming out soon. Sweet and sassy forever. Let's go. Fuck, sorry. It's my mood. It's my mood is taking a toll on me. But I do have a video coming out, I think on Tuesday, where a friend of mine that I've always had, Sandra, that a friend of mine that has always had, like, I've had a rapport with for so long. Like, we knew each other in middle school and stuff, and can actually tell me, like, things I'm doing wrong. And so I asked her a bunch of questions. I'm going to make a video on that. And one of them is, like, the first sign that she saw that I might be a narcissist or that something was off and stuff like that. Hey, Cassandra, what's going on? Yeah, I'm having I'm in a mood, dude. I'm not taking it back now. I'm in a mood. I don't know why. I'm hoping this live stream cheers me up a little bit, but like, I'm just feeling down. I don't know why. I hate this. I hate when like cluster B, like, because cluster Bs will just have these fucking like emotional bullshit going on, and for like no discernible reason. And I'm just sitting here being like, why am I such a bag of shit and can't be happy? This is stupid. It's stupid. Oh man, did I miss any? I'm paranoid because I have WhatsApp up right now on my computer, so I know I don't miss any, like, anything my mods say. So I can't. So I have to like be really on top of the comments. January's the saddest month, I heard. So I woke up this morning and take a guess at how cold it was in my room, because my room has barely any insulation and has 3 walls exposed to the outside. Wow, narcissist stonewall, because they're probably because they're bored of you. I'll be honest. That's the only reason I would do it. Um, Bored of you, or just like they're pissed, something like that. TJ, a little warmer than that. I would say it was like 54 degrees. It was fucking sad. Or like you insulted them and they're pissed off. What would be the perfect day for a narcissist? Owning everything. Owning everything. Um, See, that's the thing, is that like I don't think there's anything that could make a narcissist have a perfect day. Nothing is literally ever enough. What do you think about how many percent of narcissists are benign? I mean, really want to be empathetic and control their behavior, like narcissistic emotions and thoughts. About one. So that one's hard for me because you have to keep in mind. Um, you have to keep in mind that like you only need to match 5 of the criteria for NPD, right? So you might not have lack of empathy or interpersonal exploitation. You could be like a pretty tolerable person. So in my opinion, I would guess it's close to 50% is what I would say. Like of just people that they're just they're emotionally dysregulated and just kind of but they're not assholes. I would say probably around 50%. Then I think it gets on a scale of like how shitty they are, like how intense their emotional dysregulation is, and like how their interpersonal exploitation, lack of empathy would manifest. I have never wanted to regulate my self-esteem with statism, like ever. Vindictiveness, yes. Well, that's not even a self-esteem. Well, no, it kind of is because it's to fight feelings of shame and stuff like that. But never have I engaged in sadism for that purpose. I guess like on the malignant side, like have like taking pride in like being a bad person, being, horrible. And what made me see I was a narc, I just knew something was off. Then I got diagnosed, and I just want to know why I was doing all the shit that I did. Hi, can you please tell me how I can convince a narcissist to come to a meeting? What kind of meeting? Like a therapy session? Because I actually had somebody on my live on TikTok the other day come on and say that this book really helped them and got their narcissist into therapy. It's backwards again. Disarming the Narcissist by Wendy T. Berry. Really good for like when you are in a relationship with a narcissist and you want to maintain that relationship and have it as healthy as it could be. You're just hot. Yes, I am. It's really good. It's really good for that. Again, I had somebody on my live say that after I recommended it, they actually got their partner into therapy. It's spelled Behary. What transforms low self-esteem to negativity towards people? How does it happen? I would say, it's not backwards? Oh, cool. How would that happen? I'm trying to think. I think it's when the mindset occurs of only I will take care of myself. That I have to look after myself no matter what. Nobody else is going to help me. It's easy to hurt other people when you don't think that anybody else can care for you. So I think honestly, low self-esteem can pretty easily turn to can lean into narcissistic defenses. Oh man. Bruh. Hey, Linda's here. What's going on, Linda? Have you ever had family cut you off? No. But in fairness, I don't have much family, and a lot of my family I cut off first. So, like, most of my family's dead. Addiction, mainly addiction and suicide. We're all full of the cluster bees. Let's go. It can occur in a loving home too. Well, there's a lot of ways that trauma can manifest, right? It can be subtle. And also, it's like, what if you're in, a good example is like, what if you have a really loving family, but you're in a country that's like war torn, right? The trauma can come everywhere. Do unself-aware narcissists, fuck, 1 second. Do know they're gaslighting, pitting friends against each other? Not the gaslighting typically. That's usually us diminishing things because like we think it's over, right? It's like I hurt you, and in the moment maybe I make a joke and I kind of try to diffuse it or don't talk about it, like ignore it. Ignoring it can be a good one. And if it's brought up again, I feel like you're trying to shame me, right? It's like you're bringing up this thing that's over. So I try to diminish it. I try to say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I try to say, oh, like, or sometimes you deserved it, stuff like that. And that can come off as gaslighting, right? Hey, Jessica, what's up? But usually there is, and I'm sure there are some narcissists, right, who, like, especially if they're on the malignant side, that do it purposefully. Mass majority of the time, no. As for the pitting friends against each other, I was kind of aware that I was doing that when I felt like it was warranted. Like somebody hurt me and I'm like, I'm going to use social pressure in order to get my revenge. But if I wasn't mad at them, maybe I'm like venting about them. It's hard for me to say. I don't think I ever did that. It's possible for NPDs to worsen their health as bring them to a difficult physical condition. How do you mean? Like addiction stuff is a huge one that contributes to that. You have a heart sometimes, Isabel, you sure? No, but yeah, like addiction, huge thing that can diminish their health. Or just their sensation seeking, they get bored so easily. That does lead into an addiction or like does not give them the motivation, right? Tasha, what's up? What's the relation like between people with MPD and BPD? Oh man, like a romantic relationship between them or like the similarities and stuff like that. Do you miss people? Yes. I will never show that to them though, ever. They need to come back to me. I won't apologize for anything I did together unless they apologize to me first. Like a friendship between a borderline and a narcissist. I have pretty good friendships with borderlines. Like I relate to borderlines way more than I do normal people. Like my first cluster B friend was a self-aware borderline, and it was so refreshing. I felt like somebody actually understood me, that I actually like had things in common with somebody. I remember one of the big things that we talked about was like feeling insulted when somebody would flirt with somebody who wasn't us at a social thing. Hey, Visceral Gravitas, what's here? Oh, only for a short time? Okay. You're abandoning me. How dare you? Do you think the day will ever come when NPD, ASPD, maladaptive traits can be effectively fixed via therapy? I'm not sure if they can be fixed. I think that they can like go into remission like they do now and will come up with like better treatments, right? Because right now, like, although I think people should know that 53% of narcissists go into remission, that's still pretty low. Borderlines, I think it's around 75%, but we don't have the equivalent of DBT for narcissism. Sassy's here, what's happening? Yeah, well, because it's relatable. Exactly. Like, borderlines and narcissists have a lot of relatable things. Like, all the time I get like, oh, I didn't know how similar narcissism and borderline were. Especially if someone like me, who is, like, pretty damn self-aware. Because I've been working on it my entire fucking life. I don't remember what I was saying. Sorry. Excuse me, what the fuck, 75%? Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. Like, I feel like when we come up with, like, a treatment system for narcissism and ASPD specifically, that will, like, skyrocket, just like it did with BPD. But yeah, 75%. Discord mom, I thought when you said hello, sweet, I thought you were referring to me for a second. But no, just sassy. I'm sweet. Not really. Can you help me understand why abusers protect each other? I mean, I'm not, despite that, they hurt each other. You know, actually, I think I can bring that around to my sister. Because me and my sister are we're ostensibly each other's abusers as well as, like, our parents, right? But, like, we understood each other, And at the same time, it was like, I don't know, I had this mindset of nobody fucks with my sister except for me, basically. Me in self-defense. Um, but it depends on the level of abuse, because if it's like physical abuse, Hey Marco, what's up, by the way? How do you get diagnosed? What made you go to therapy? I was trying to impress a girl. Yeah, I know, it's stereotypical. How do you tell the difference between NPD and ASPD? ASPD is way more likely to engage in criminal behaviors, and MPD is going to have more pronounced grandiosity, and it's going to have more like hierarchical thinking. Usually people who sorry, I am in such a mood that I'm having a hard time focusing. Um, Usually people with ASPD are more in like a fight or flight mode. That's like they're constantly questioning their safety, right? And they're more about respect, and it's like they have this mindset of don't fuck with me, I won't fuck with you, while narcissists are like dedicated to getting on top of the social ladder. And do I have respect for them for coming back into my life? Ooh, that's a good question. I wouldn't say respect. um Oh, actually making I need to think about that one, by the way, Linda. Difference between people with NPD and narcissistic traits. I'm having a video coming out about that because that's a lot to get into. Do you mean that abusers can understand each other? Well, that's the thing, is that like people can abuse for so many different reasons. I feel like that question is kind of too broad to address properly, because it's like, how bad are the abusers? What's the relationship between them like? Why are they abusing? Not to say that any of that would even clarifying, none of that is an excuse for abuse, by the way. Just like abusers can take so many shapes and forms that it's almost impossible to say that definitively. Why are you so fixated on your looks? Because I think that I need to look perfect, and I'm always self-conscious, and I think it looks like shit, hence why I'm fixing my hair all the time. I think that my hair looks really bad. Every time you see me fix my hair, I think my hair looks bad, because I'm so self-conscious. I'm constantly fixating on my flaws. Like I can point out like 80 of them I'm self-conscious of on my face right now. If I'm not perfect, I'm nothing. It's a hierarchical thinking. I have to be like above everybody in terms of attractiveness, in terms of everything. I don't know. Do you believe in a core self? If so, do you think people personalize with fuck me? So, do you believe in a core self? Do you think people with personality disorder are people who have issues connecting to that core because it's core rejected in childhood? I mean, okay, this is very despondent sounding, but I'm questioning if I even have a core. It's the identity disturbance concept, right? Because I don't know who I am deep down, and borderlines don't know who they are, period. And it's super interesting with borderlines, because like you'll give them like a prompt to describe themselves, or like a personality test or something like that, and they'll be like, I don't know, I can't do this, which is really interesting to me, because I can give like some superficial traits at the very least. But I would say if we're going at this from a perspective of like what a core is, again, I question if we even have one, and these are just a bunch of defense mechanisms to kind of protect against that. That's how I feel as well. Hope I don't have NPD. I hope not either. Susie says your channel's helping so many people. Thank you. You always look great, by the way. Aw, thank you. I needed that. What do you think the best way to approach conversation with an abusive narcissist about their behaviors? Depends on the level of abuse, if I even want to answer that. But again, I have a video coming out Tuesday, where I'm going to talk about one of my friends who I've had for like a really long time, and how they like were able to handle me and stuff. That I think we'll go into that in a way that you'll be comfortable with. Do you know anyone comorbid NPD and ASPD? No. Not personally, at least, or even on the internet. I'm not friends with any. Do you resent someone if they become important to you, like they own a piece of you? I wouldn't say they own a piece of me, but and subconsciously I start resenting them. Like I start being like, I start to get threatened, and since subconsciously I don't really recognize that, I start to push them away and get angry towards them more, and that can lead to some resentment because I'm finding reasons to push them away. Zero sense of self, BPD. Yep. Easy way to tell if somebody is just a narcissist or a sociopath as well. Do they care what you think of them? A sociopath won't give a shit. A narcissist will only care what you think of them. Identifying a core is actually difficult in my opinion. I agree, Linda. My identity is yours. Yeah, that's something to touch on too. How you guys like become in your romantic relationships, like basically adopt everything about that person. All right, Ricky is here. What's going on, dude? Do you find memory to be a huge issue with narcissists? They seem to be genuinely dissociated from what they said did when confronted. I think it's that I don't think it's memory. Like Sarah struggles with memory stuff. And I'm not sure if that's the norm or mine is the norm. For me, it's more of I won't view it the way that you did, right? I remember what I did, but I'll have rationalized it in certain ways or minimized it in my head. So I guess maybe that's a memory thing. Or probably I'm like, how did that, like, or I'm thinking, how did it affect you like that? You know what I mean? So it may come off as like a memory issue because I'm being like, there's no way I hurt you that bad. Do you know what I mean? I was bullied by a group for 2 years. Lear was a grandiose narcissist. I just read that and I was like, did you go to high school with me? I didn't really bully. I just mainly talk shit. Do you experience different self states? I have different like masks, so to speak, and I will like modify them slightly to appeal to the people that I'm talking to. Well, I guess in self states, I have my vulnerable and grandiose sides, right? If I'm in like a mood or I'm not getting the self-esteem juice I need, I'm going to be sad, moody, introverted, angry. Then when I'm grandiose, I'll probably still be angry, but I'll be, grandiose. I'll be very self-aggrandizing, very charismatic, very outgoing. So I would say those are my two self states. Like every time someone asks me what I like, who I am, it's hard for me to answer. I'll literally sweat answering. You borderlines, yeah. Yep, and I find that so interesting, honestly. And I hope that doesn't come off as mean. But it's like, because like I don't really know who I am deep down, but I know my superficial traits that I can describe, right? And I kind of know how I behave. Is video coming on Tuesday will be helpful. Yeah, Linda, I am so excited for it, honestly. I think it'll be really cool. Surely your core is just versatile and adaptive. I'm not solid say it may be a good thing if applied well. I agree it could be. I think everything about personality disorders, if they're applied healthily, can be good things. But yeah, I always kind of described it as like, imagine like the earth, right? Tectonic plates. I always kind of imagine it like that. Like it's constantly shifting around each other and going around. You can't really grapple with it as a cohesive thing. That's how I always imagined it. Or like it's like water. Like I guess fucking the narcissist, right? The legend of Narcissist, right? And I try to reach into it, and it just kind of escapes my grasp. How would you feel if you got a visible tattoo you ended up regretting? I wouldn't get a tattoo. I get for that exact reason. Because I'm like, how do I know that I'll like this tattoo for the rest of my life? I mean, serious diagnosis, for example, severe thrombosis, to the extent that he could lose his leg. He says that before he was depressed for months. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. I would have... Yeah, I can see it. Well, what is thrombosis, by the way? I gotta look that up. Oh, so he was basically lying in bed all the time until... Yeah, I mean, narcissists can get very depressed, very anxious. I can easily see that happening where they kind of let themselves go like that, especially if they're in like a very deep, vulnerable state. Like, I was once, but I would try to stay like somewhat active. But like, I didn't, like, I would move around, but like I stopped exercising completely because I couldn't bring myself to. And like, it's a horrible compiling cycle where I'm depressed because I'm not getting my self-esteem juice, and then because I'm not getting my self-esteem juice, I'm getting more depressed, etc., etc., etc. My ethnicity, do I not look white? Or are you asking like specific European countries? Because I'm Northern European. Could you name some characteristics, physical or emotional, that all of your friends and parents have all possessed in some way? If so, what are they? Oh, friends and partners. Honestly, like, I'm so willing to be friends with like anybody who will be friends with me. I can't think of even one that they all have in common. The only thing they have in common is that they tolerate me. What if I coddle someone I believe is a narc? Like, as a BPD, I see broken parts and he gets so mad, though. Yeah, don't do that. Because he'll see what you're doing. Well, I don't, in fairness, I doubt that you're doing that, like, in a way that's, like, demeaning. But he'll take it as demeaning, right? And he'll think that you're trying to be demeaning. So I would not recommend that. This guy asked me my questions. I said, great question. What are yours? That's funny. Can you list some superficial traits that you truly think are yours, or because your fake traits are pretty clear, or because your fake traits are just pretty clear, stable? The fake one, they all feel fake. No, like, I don't even feel like I'm attractive. I don't feel like I'm smart, like, deep down. But, like, I simultaneously do and I don't. It's a flip flop, right? Either I think I am the best in all those ways, or I don't at all. Like, it's weird. I don't know if I can explain it. Jacob, have you ever pushed a partner to cheat or discard you? Yes, because I can't deal with the shame of breaking up with them. Like, I never minded people thinking that I was kind of a piece of shit boyfriend. I never really cared. But I guess that was a big part of my grandiose side. But yeah, I couldn't deal with just looking in the eyes and breaking up with them. I don't know why, but that was intolerable to me. I forced so many of my girlfriends to break up with me instead of the other way around. All I did is showering with praise. I've also realized telling him how much I'm excited or looking forward to something versus anything inquiring comes off better. Oh, yeah, okay. I remember what you're referring to now. Is it possible that I adopted some narcissistic thinking patterns, behaviors because I've used a narcissistic relationship for years? This is what I always say in regards to that. I know that every time I'm in a relationship, when I was unaware, that I made them feel like I did. I made them feel replaceable, worthless, broken, etc., etc. And when you're starting to feel like that, and one of the main people in your life is somebody who is also dealing with those feelings, but they have these grandiose defenses against that, I think you're going to subconsciously pick up on those. Or you're just going to adopt them in order to kind of cope with the relationship itself. Is music influential to your mood, Jacob? Not my mood, but my emotions. I have super strong emotional reactions to music, but it doesn't really affect my mood, I would say. Honestly, I didn't even know mood was a thing for a long time because my emotions are always so fucking over the place that I couldn't recognize that I had an underlying mood beneath all that. How do I know if I'm not a narcissist? Sassy, I want to point out you're not a narcissist. I watch your videos. Not all of them, but I try to watch them every now and then. But I would say if you're borderline and you want to make sure you're not a narcissist, I would say the hierarchical thinking and hiding the self. If you feel like well, no, because like I feel like you guys mask your symptoms, so I can be confused. But I would say the hierarchical thinking mainly, and then I like when hiding the self, not just hiding your symptoms, but hiding everything you feel, and not just in your relationships, but like constantly, literally with everybody you meet. Maybe that's not a good way to differentiate it. I don't know. Let me know. But like, yeah, keep in mind they're so heavily tied that I'm sure like everybody who's borderline, I think I would put money has narc traits and vice versa. If somebody you were interested in had an enormous crush on you, and then they stopped having a crush on you, would you care, want them to still desire you? Yes. It's like, I remember, like, it's like one of my hoes got a boyfriend who was super into me. How dare you? Because they're telling me basically that I'm not good enough anymore. That I'm not good enough for them to have a crush on me. Because, like, I know, and that's so stupid. But yes, I'd be very upset. Not very upset, but I'd be upset. That makes so much sense. My ex's NPD was adamant about never getting tattoos. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder if that's a narcissist thing. I suspect the narcissist in my life is secretly struggling with shame. What are your thoughts about narcissism and shame? I think shame is the core of narcissism. I'm constantly dealing with shame, but for a long time, I could not recognize shame because of my alexithymia. I called it the bad emotion. I had three emotions: the bad emotion, the good emotion, and anger. And like But like once I was aware of it, it affects everything, literally everything. When should one draw a line and break up contact with someone at MPD? Is there something enough compassion? How to balance understanding and boundaries? That's completely up to you, dude. I'll be honest. How much you're willing to put up with? How badly is that affecting you? How much do you love this person? All those factors go into that, right? And I think that you can understand somebody while having strong boundaries, right? You don't need to be close to somebody just because you understand them, even though I think that that would give you peace. Well, more peace at least. Like understanding that, oh, that's just how this guy is. It's not because of me. It's just, that's who he is, and he's broken, what the fuck ever. Ultimately, I can't tell you where to draw that line. I think that that's and I think honestly, the fact that you want to ask me tells me that that's something you need to spend some time thinking on, because that just shows that, like, honestly, that shows me that you're at a point where you do need to draw either stronger boundaries or maybe even go no contact. I hope that made sense. And I hope it didn't come off as like kind of dickish. How would you say how would you feel if you lost your arm or leg? You said you needed to be perfect. Would it cause a complete mental breakdown? Yeah, I'd kill myself. Okay, that was really blunt. No, yeah, I couldn't live like that. I couldn't. Blood clot thrombosis. Okay, thank you, Lupus. Yeah. I had to go no contact with my kid, pass him by if I see him on the street. What's his thoughts, if any? Resentment and betrayal. Because he probably doesn't even see like he probably can't understand why you did that. When somebody goes no contact with me, I have two thoughts. One, you hate me. Two, I wasn't good enough. So those are probably his thoughts when he sees you, and that's bringing it up. Oh, your next obsession is here. What's going on? I think I have moderate narcissism, but not pathological, as I have empathy and guilt. Can you describe the main differences between pathological and no pathological narcissism, apart from empathy and guilt? I would say the big ones: hierarchical thinking, hiding the self, and a desperate need for, I should have said this is sassy. Desperate need for self-esteem regulation to the point that's basically all you care about. Like, don't get me wrong, narcissists crave the love they never got as kids. But ultimately, it's like way more focused on self-esteem regulation. I will do whatever it takes to get my self-esteem juice and stuff. Now, give me a second. I use the bathroom. Guys, I'm getting so self-conscious because I feel like I'm not being entertaining enough. I'm fucking boring. Oh my god. I always get so worried about that. That is one of my biggest fears, is that I'm boring people. Like, when I'm with my girlfriend and we're not doing anything, I'm constantly apologizing, saying, I'm sorry I'm being so boring right now. It's like I'm just weird. Trying to find where I was in terms of questions. Here we go. I'm guessing you were either Irish, Italian, German, or Latin. Really? You think I thought I was Latin? No, yeah, I'm mainly English. I'm mainly English. Maybe it's just the lighting that makes me look not, Hey, PD questions here. What's going on, dude? Do you find that MPD behaviors are largely impulsive, reactive? Yes. Do you find the impulsivity varies with circumstances? Have you noticed any calm circumstances where the symptom go almost dormant? Yes, yes to all of those. Especially when I'm like getting the self-esteem juice I need. I will always more or less be like pretty damn calm in comparison to how I usually am. Honestly, I feel like when I'm getting my self-esteem juice, I am the least symptomatic, and that makes sense, right? Because the behaviors are largely driven by self-esteem regulation. So like when I'm getting those needs met, I have no reason to be fucking awful. But yeah, a lot of it is impulsivity with MPD and BPD have that in common. I tell this story sometimes. Once I had an ex who she ignored me for a few days while we were basically like a thing. And so impulsively, I was like, okay, I'll show her she doesn't matter. I'm going to drive to DC without telling anybody. And then I went there and then just sent her a picture of me and my female friend who lived there without any context. Ooh, that was funny. She texted me back, though. She texted me back. That forced breakup is very similar to Sam Vaknin's recent videos on forcing betrayal. Kind of. I wouldn't say he talked about it as inevitable though, and I disagree with that. Also, wasn't that in regards to Richard Grannon fucking his wife or something? Do you spend a long time thinking of the past and the unknown future, like not being present in the Yes. I feel like I'm never present in the present. I feel like I'm constantly in a state of being in the future or past, because either I'm being nostalgic about the past, like the best times are behind me, or I'm thinking about the future and how little time I have to achieve my grandiose fantasies. This is where I watched that this morning. I thought Sam was making stuff up. Oh, so it's a different video. Okay. I'll look into it. Why do narcissists have problem keeping relationships and jobs? Because those things will inevitably either trigger shame, or they'll trigger, or just like impede their self-esteem regulation. Narcissists tend to do really good in jobs where they have power. Hence, when in the prison, I was pretty damn good at my job. But yeah, and the emotional dysregulation, right? Watch someone cry makes me so uncomfortable, so I'd rather become so unbearable they leave me through text. Right? I feel that. Like, crying is awkward. I don't know the difference between emotion and mood. Thin line, I think. They go together, maybe. Yeah, I didn't either. Apparently, mood is like the underlying emotion that you're kind of feeling the entire day. Like, you're generally feeling down or generally feeling up, while emotions are more like in the moment. What happens when a narcissist actually commits to a relationship? Is there an inevitable outcome forecast for it? Not at all. And it depends on the narcissist, right? I would say there's general trends to expect, but nothing is a death sentence. And for me, from what I see, the most common one is if they're committed, they'll probably stay committed, but they'll struggle with like feelings of like, oh, they're not my soulmate, and like kind of have this urge. They'll have urges to leave a lot of the times, but if they're like really committed, they won't act. A lot of them don't act on it though. A lot of them do, such as myself. Can you have autism and MPD at the same time? Yes. There's no disorder in the DSM that you cannot have comorbid with MPD. Funny thing, my sister posed the idea that's our grandpa's fault we have issues. What do you feel about that? In high school, would you go to parties or social events if somebody was there you cut off just for the drama? Or would you avoid that scenario completely out of fear of humiliation? It did depend. It really did depend. Like, if the situation ended in a way that caused me a lot of shame, I'd avoid it at all costs. But yes, I would go to parties just because there was somebody there that I had a falling out with that I wanted to humiliate or draw the attention away from them or cause shit. So I would do that. I'll be real, I still do that Excess shame, sensitivity equals being trapped how others perceive their public mask and reputation. Yes, hands down. How's working with MBD? Is it hard to keep work or find it satisfying? Yeah, because it's humiliating. Like, I'm doing jobs that are beneath me. And, like, I have superiors who will, like, judge me or criticize me, and they're fucking idiots. I should have their job. Like, who do they think they are? Can NPDs experience long periods of dissociation / psychosis, like a full year? Or is that more BPD? I don't think even BPD can last a full year, but it is way more BPD to go through psychosis and like paranoids, like transient psychosis and dissociation. I don't know if I've ever dissociated before. Cluster Bs are fascinating to me. I went years not feeling understood. Yes, I appreciate this community. Same. Hands down, it's so nice feeling understood. And I love that, like, not only are there cluster Bs here, but there's quote-unquote normal people or people with other disorders that I can understand them better, because that's also fascinating to me. I hope for the rest of for the most of the time my channel, I have a decent chunk of cluster Bs and then, like, a big variety. Like, every time I do my surveys, it's usually, like, third cluster B, 1/3 other disorder, 1/3 normal person. Love that. Love that. Yeah, with BPD, I'm having such a hard time choosing my career. I don't know what I like or what's my calling. Yeah, that's a big thing with BPD too. Is that like there's a bunch of indecisiveness with it. I didn't want a tattoo because I know I'll hate it and not feel it anymore after a week. Very un-BPD. I know a lot of BPDs that use it as a form of self-harm. Like when they have urges of self-harm, they're like, "I was get a tattoo," and I'm like, "Well, that seems short-sighted." Hey, don't do that. YouTuber chatting's here. What's going on? As a narcissist, I love to intrigue, however, lack intimacy. I appear interested that I'm not really available. Yes. And it sucks. I feel so fucking hollow when somebody's pouring their heart out to me, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god, yeah, that's so terrible. Oh my god, and there's no emotional reaction like at all. How can you convince people to become your flying monkey? It just happens. I never had to, like, convince somebody. Like, I'm never like, listen, here's the deal. You do what I want, and I'll take care of you. It's just kind of a general, like, I don't know. It's just kind of like a general trend of, like, them kind of being swayed by me and influenced by me. They respect and admire me, so they want to do what I want, or I convince them that, like, this is the right thing to do. Like, I don't know, like, it's like, oh, this person wronged me and has wronged you guys. Let's all fucking, like, isolate them or something. Do you think you'll get married or have children? Don't know. I would like to, but I'm not sure if I'll ever be in a place where I feel like I'm healthy enough to do so. So you have a superiority complex and also not feel good enough. Yes, I hate myself, but also think I'm better than everybody. That's NPD in a nutshell. Hate myself, but I think I'm better than everybody. That is I think that's how you sum up NPD, like, period. Can you access your inner child? I think mine's dead. Honestly, that's like a big joke that we have. Is that, like, people talk, take care of your inner child. What inner child? I need to go live with Cluster B Milkshake soon. Do you have any travel plans for Europe? I want to. Once I have enough money, I'm going to get back into traveling. I have always loved traveling. It's like the only time I've ever felt at peace. And I would love to go to Europe eventually. I don't have any active plans right now. Do a little dance and sing us a song then, Jacob. I'm trying to think of I don't know any song to sing though. Fuck. Will Wood came out with a good song recently. Willie Reed did a song. Please do videos about ADHD. I might. ADHD is a pain in the ass. My dream child is work along the ocean floor. Oh my God. Do you guys have that like intense fear of the deep sea? This isn't narcissism at all, but like I have this guttural fear of it. Like I love nature documentaries with that like go into like the deep sea and stuff like that. But it almost makes me panic. Ooh, underwater caves too. Those freak me the fuck out. Like I don't know what it is. It's like just this knee jerk reaction. You're getting a moon. What does that mean? I feel like I'm not paying attention to what the chat's saying. Hey, Narc, fuck you. What's going on, though? How do you work on yourself as a narcissist? Mainly, my main thing has been self-reflection. Like, trying to understand why I do things and what my actual needs are and how to get them healthily. Like self-esteem juice, right? I help people through their problems. They get helped. I feel good. They call me wise and smart and shit like that. Everybody wins. Do you punish your partners on purpose or unintentionally? I feel like you guys view punishing, well, not really you, Ricky, but you know what I mean. I feel like people view punishing and narcissism disingenuinely. Because, like, think about it this way. I feel like a lot of people feel like they're being punished just because of the timing, but they aren't actually being punished. It's just either emotional dysregulation or us narcissists are so fucking self-absorbed that we hurt people and don't even realize it. But also, yes, I can punish people intentionally when I feel like they wrong me and stuff like that. It's vindictive. Nicole, hi. I love how fucking everybody knows who Nicole is. I read a study that said when being graded on a test, vulnerable narcs got even angry when they got a high grade when they didn't deserve it. Yeah, because it's demeaning. Yeah, I understand that. They're pitying me. They're pitying me and think that fucking like I need a higher score because I'm so pathetic. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually. Would it be possible to succeed and attain enough social success and not need self-esteem juice from individuals? Look at Lyndon B. Johnson. He wasn't satisfied because we're trying to fill a void in us externally that we need to fix ourselves, like within ourselves. Think of it like addiction, right? Like you're a heroin addict. You need more and more to get the same high each time. And I find it analogous to that. Is that like you're always going to be chasing that high. And eventually there'll be nowhere else to go. Does sad music cause a reaction in you? Yes. My friend would send me songs that would identify with our relationship. Yeah, I do that all the time actually. Yeah, I feel like I feel the most emotion when I'm listening to music even. I literally have a playlist of songs that I use to make myself feel things. It's called emotional self-harm, like the playlist is, and it makes me like sad or think about my childhood and shit like that. What's the main difference between sociopaths and narcissism, and which one is worse from your perspective? Worse to live with, or like worse for society? The main difference is, like I always say, do they care about what people think about them? If they don't, then like they're not a narcissist. They'd be a sociopath then. But according to Nicole, she thought I was a fucking sociopath, so who knows? Based on what you're saying, and I agree, maybe a good therapy for NBD is to build the solid health food as opposed to the fast food version of self-esteem. Physical health analog to mental health. I agree. Getting your needs met in a way that's good for everybody, that everybody benefits, and it's not toxic. That's kind of what I try to do, is that I think this is a good example. I get my self-esteem juice by having this YouTube channel where like I have a lot of people who value what I say, who think I'm smart. And again, that's not my only reason for having this channel, but it's helping people and not hurting anybody. How can I manipulate a sadistic psychopath? I think I'll go to prison in the future and have to survive. Listen, I am sorry about your situation. I can't really help you, though. I don't know enough about psychopathy, and I'm not a psychopath. Um, Still, that situation sounds like it sucks. I don't know the details, but I would advise. I'm sorry, I don't know. You don't want that job, TJ? Ugh. I would love it. I love being in power. The way I describe dissociation is like playing COD, like you're there but not really there. I would, when you put it like that, I think the only time I dissociate then is when I'm in a narcissistic rage, so to speak, and I feel like the only thing that matters is my rage. I'm acting purely on instinct. Andrew McBride, what's going on, dude? Before you became self-aware, how often did you mirror people or fake laugh in conversations that you didn't find funny? I don't really mirror people that much, but fake laugh, constantly. Stuff like that, I feel like I did it more back then because I'm always trying to get people to like me and stuff like that. I guess when I say mirror, I'm never mirroring people. I'm like perfecting a persona that like I know they'll be receptive to. Does that make sense? Like I'm editing it for those purposes. What do you think your channel will be in 5 or 10 years? Honestly, I'm hoping that I'll have a lot of interviews with experts. I'm hoping that I have like a really good resource for understanding NPD. But honestly, in 5 to 10 years, I'm not sure if and I also hope I branch out to other personality disorders. But in 5 to 10 years, I kind of hope I'm not doing this as actively anymore. I think what I'm going to, by that point, I want to have like a live, like every week or so. Or if I have like or if like a study comes out that I think people really need to know about, I don't want to be doing it as frequently or as focused on it at that point. Because I feel like, at this point, I already feel like I've told most of my story. I feel like I've shared so much about pathological narcissism that like, how much else is there to talk about? Linda says we can all learn from each other, which is perfect for awareness, advocacy, and how to relate to one each other. 100%, Linda. I agree. 100%. Dinosaur Lover says, why does he have a new person that still contacts me if he discarded me and didn't seem to like me anymore? Because he wants you to like him. That's why I would do it, honestly. I need people for my self-esteem juice. Seems to me he was punishing himself by not taking care of himself anymore. Zori, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually. There is a self-destructive component to all cluster Bs. More pronounced in BPD, but yeah, I have definitely gotten to states like that where I was punishing myself, so to speak. I gotta pee again. Zori, thanks, Jacob, for everything. You're really helpful. I can tell you that I'm very proud of you. That's nice. Thank you. Jacob, it does sound like the inner child is gone per the various convos I've heard, so you have to go forward from there where you are now. I like that mindset, honestly. It's like, yeah, the inner child's kind of dead. Oh, well. But there is still healing to do from that. Maybe I can make a new inner child, right? Who knows? It's hard to say. I'm getting a moon. Oh, that's what you meant. You're getting a tattoo. I was like, you're getting a moon? Where are you buying a moon from? Jacob, the part of you that likes to go, ooh, butterfly knife, go swoosh, swoosh. Sounds like a child schema. Project my own happy child schema on you. Could it be one? I believe it. I can see that, honestly. Well, because I do act childish sometimes. And like goofy. That's one of my like personas, so to speak. But I don't really do the age regression thing, though. Do you feel guilt when you upset someone close to you if it's constant? No. I don't know what guilt is. I feel shame. I don't really feel guilt, though. Guilt confuses me. Like, yeah, I am so self-focused that, like, focusing on somebody else and their emotions is almost bizarre. That's so other-focused. Like, it's only... Like, if I hurt somebody consistently, I will feel flawed. I will feel like I'm a shitty person. It's not about what they're feeling or what I put them through. It's I am bad. I am stupid. I am awful. I already said hi to Nicole. Little dance we made in my evening. I should show you guys. Oh my God. There's a YouTube video of me when I was a freshman in high school of me doing a dance. I went like this. And I think you guys would really find that funny. And it's like me and a bunch of my friends messing around being stupid children. I love to swim, but I'm not doing it in open water. Yeah. I don't even want to be on a boat. I like being on boats. Oh, watching the sidelines though, nature boating, yeah. TJ, I do agree for the most part. What's so fun about drama? I'm personally finding it stressful. That's a good question, Maggie. That's a really good question. It's interesting. I think it's part of our chronic boredom. Because I just find it interesting. Like, gossip's fun. And I just kind of want to see what happens, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's instrumental. Sometimes. I told you I'm stealing your peeps. Well, whose YouTube channel has more subscribers, Nicole? I'm joking. The narc keeps losing feelings for me, then briefly gains them back. Yeah, ooh, relatable. 3 days ago, he was acting all sweet and romantic with me, then quickly lost his feelings, still has no feelings. Thoughts? Relatable. I wish I had more insight about that, but, like, I know exactly what he's describing, and you're describing. Like, it comes in waves. Like, if I spend too much time with them, I feel like I get in my head, or I get sick of them. Not sick of them. And then, like, in my relationship right now, I have to, like, take a lot of time to, like, separate myself so that I don't get those feelings. Because I always am in that mindset of, oh my God, what if my soulmate's still out there? What if there's someone out there better than me? Blah, 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 blah. It sucks. It really fucking sucks. Do you think people outside control your life, or you are the one in charge? Oh, fuck, I'm the one in charge. See, it's funny. I'm in charge of the things that are good, but others are in charge of the things that are bad, right? Like, if I'm feeling something negative and somebody else caused it, but if I'm happy, it's because of me. Yeah, I definitely control my life. I play music when I'm sad. That makes me more sad. Felt. Wait, Artemis? Oh, yeah. Hey, what's going on? Words by Artemis. I have a playlist like that, too. My cry playlist. Love it. Cry playlists are so important. So important. So what do you like, Jacob? I like learning things. I like biology. Some esoteric math I find really interesting. Coding. I do lockpicking. What? See, I do lockpicking. I like learning about narcissism. I like learning about other people. I like getting inside their heads and knowing what makes them click. Tick. I said click because part of lockpicking is you hear little clicks. We know you are smart. We just don't think it. We don't just think it. That's an interesting distinction you just made. It's a really interesting distinction you just made. I have to reflect on that. Wait, did I fuck this up? Did I get a full set? Yeah, I did. Are narcissists afraid of psychopaths? I am. I definitely am. Can someone with MPD not seek validation, maybe due to high social anxiety? Yes, kind of. They're going to find it in some way. But there are introverted narcissists, which I don't really understand. I really don't understand introverted narcissists. They seem kind of buck wild to me. God damn it. Why can't I get this one today? But it's possible, but those would be miserable people. In order for a narcissist to become considered healed or whatever, he needs to enter into an intimate relationship with a cluster B partner, and both need to realize their disorders before they break up. That can help. I wouldn't say it's completely necessary, but that can definitely help. Come on. Almost got it. Damn it. There we go. Got it. Ugh. Can this work in your opinion? Yeah, as I said, I do think that can definitely help. Like, because a relationship like that will be so fucking. I don't think any cluster B can get into a relationship with another cluster B and not think, all right, I gotta figure some shit out. You know what I mean? Oh, but I love this channel. I'm sorry. Yeah, 10 years, it's gonna be. I mean, in 10 years, it's just like, what else am I to do? Again, I'll try to still do live streams and stuff at least, or maybe I'll hand it off to, like, I don't know, Tess. Annie's here. What's going on? I see you teaching formally. That'd be neat. Have you considered writing about your experience? I was actually thinking about that today. Some people have said that they want to see me write a book. I don't know. It seems very daunting. Speaking of, I wonder where dog training Mexico is. You be NPD with lots of ASPD traits. I know that for sure. Amen. You can be, I mean, you can have them comorbid even. My advice is not manipulate cluster B unless you can take the blowback. I would take that a step further and just say don't manipulate people. Oh, got this one too. I have 3 locks I've been practicing on. How do you break up with a good person you really don't want to hurt them? I make them break up with me, honestly. Like, I don't know how to break up with them myself. Like, I always get so ashamed and broken. Are you a golden child? Fuck no. What's the one? Lost child? I would say that's the most. My sister thinks she was the scapegoat, but I'm also like, I don't know, Janice, you're pretty fucking buck wild. This is a really good question. Danny, that's a really good question. How do you feel when somebody compliments your personality? Does it mean that they compliment your persona? Are you proud of your personas? I guess I am kind of proud of my personas, but not if they... It depends what they're complimenting. If they're like, you're charismatic, I'm like, fuck yeah, I am. If it's like, you're a good person, it feels fake. It feels like they just don't actually know me. It really depends about what about my personality they're complimenting. Do you think I should get a diagnosis for NPD? I relate to almost every single trait that I've read. I don't think the diagnosis is the important part. If you're relating to NPD, I think you should enter therapy. I think that you should work on those traits that are probably making you miserable. The diagnosis is not the most important part, nor should you really seek one. Just work on those traits that are maladaptive that you do want to change. The worse I treat and the harsher I talk to a narcissist, the more they respect me, and I'm polite and empathetic. They think I'm stupid. So strange. Why is that? I respect people a lot who stand up to me. Because I don't want people, like in relationships especially, I want somebody who will bite back. When people are like just nice and stuff like that, they do come off as naive a lot of the times. Not so much nowadays. But it's just, I don't know. It's just, I get bored if somebody's just a pushover. And I think I view being empathetic and kind as being a pushover, honestly. When you feel bad, stupid, and awful when you hurt somebody, I think you feel guilt. Shame is more not so worried about someone else thinks of you. Guilt is shame is actually the feeling, because that gets confused a lot, not coming at you or anything, but shame is going... Yeah, going against your value. Okay, no, you got it. Yeah, and that goes against my values to hurt somebody. And also there's the humiliation component. I don't really feel shame, and I don't really feel shame if I don't think other people can know about it, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's feeling flawed because I'm going against my values, I guess you could say. Okay, Dog Training Mexico, I literally just asked about you. What's going on, Karen? Yeah, I'm not really... it's deeper extension of guilt. Yeah, I see what you mean, Andrew. One sec, I gotta piss again. Not me thinking about Boolean logic in the bathroom. Where's my RMS? I wish I didn't have FPs. It's horrible. Yeah, like, it sounds horrible having favorite persons. Like, I don't relate to that at all. But it sounds like really just bad. Coley says, my arc left me for a new supply, came back to Love Bomb 4 months later, said the girl meant nothing to him and other horrible things about her, and then discarded me and went right back to her. Why? Grass is always greener. We're with somebody for too long, and we, what's the word? We get disillusioned. We're like, oh, they weren't everything I thought they were. And then when you're away, especially if you, well, I guess you said you discarded you. I get very nostalgic about some of my exes, though. I don't usually go back to the ones that I discarded, quote unquote. But I get disillusioned. I'm like, why did I break up with that person? They were perfect for me. Why did I break up with that person? They were perfect for me. Lauren, introverted narcissist or buck wild, can confirm. Who are you referring to when you say do negative self-talk, saying stuff like I am bad? The I you're referring to is yourself. Does that mean you have some sense of your inner self? It's weird. I actually think about myself in second person. I'm always like, Jacob, you're so fucking stupid. Why did you do that? I wouldn't say that's an inner self. I would say that's... Oh, God, my mind's breaking. Danny, you're asking too good of questions. You're breaking my head. Ruth is here. What's going on? The narc and I broke up because his on-off feelings for me, but I'm still in his life and I still love him. I'm trauma on him and can't leave him. I feel like I'm literally addicted to him. And that means you have some self-work to do. I'm not saying that you can't that you can't be friends with him, but if that's what your feelings are in regards to him, then you really need to do some self-work. Because feeling addicted to somebody is not a healthy feeling. Sandra, I see what you said up there. I don't remember what it was. I'm not going to do that, though. Where'd you get that lockpicking thing? What do you mean lockpicking thing? Like I just ordered a lockpicking set. I find lockpicking be a very constructive hobby, especially if you use it to rob people. I'm joking. Jacob, what are you studying now? Are you working? I DoorDash. Right now I'm mainly into Dutch and code. Wait a second. Oh, never mind. Lucas, I thought you said you were in a relationship, and I was like, what? How did I not know that? I was like, you're hiding things from me, Lucas. Ooh, they live in a strange... I kind of understand introverted narcs. I've known a few. They live in a strange place in which they're too good for other people and no one lives up to their standards. That's fascinating. I bet schizoids kind of do that too, though. Schizoids, they have this mindset of, like, that other people don't deserve to know them. And they have, like, this very subtle grandiosity. It's not as... How do you feel when somebody acts indifferent to you, Jacob? Pissed off. Who the fuck do they think they are to be indifferent? Don't they know that I'm better than them? I brush my hair because I'm always self-conscious that it looks terrible and I need to be perfect. Hello, Anna. Make it a ghostwriter for your book. That benefit will of psychology literature, I believe. Thanks, Danny. I might think about it. Pushovers suck, right? Right, Gravitas? That'd be pretty cool. A series of books. Karen said a series of books by me, Rich, Tess, Sassy, and Sarah. That'd be pretty fucking cool, honestly. I want to be the first one. I deserve to be the first one. Every narcissist in my life at least respects me because I make it hell from them to hurt me. Yeah, I respect the fuck out of that. Unless you went too far. If you're like, I did this in retaliation, I'm like, ah, fair enough. I gotta pee, Jacob 2023. I said piss, by the way. Smashing Pumpkins is such a great band. I love Smashing Pumpkins. I think. Let me make sure I'm thinking about the right band. Okay. I only know one song from them. Never mind. But I do like the one song. I'm pleased to announce I'm now back in Mexico. Yes, your name makes sense again. Not sure if anyone cares or noticed. I didn't notice, but I do care. Jacob, if I did a live for you and acted awkwardly, would you take control? Fuck. Look at me. Yeah, I would. Nicole's leaving. Bye, Nicole. Thank you for telling me more. Sassy, literally you have, if we did a live together, Sassy, you do not feel like you would have to be in, like, if you froze up for a little bit, like, we'd be fine. And I'm sure if you explained it, people would understand. Also, hi, Rocky. I will get to your question later, but I wanted to say hi. Because I'm very behind. Grand, what our favorite person says. So favorite people are, the way I understand it is favorite people for people with BPD are like people with BPD will like adopt everything about them. Which is why I think a lot of people mistake their narcs for people with BPD, because they're like, oh, they copy everything I do. And I'm like, no, that's borderline. And they do it very subconsciously. And they rely on that person for their own emotional dysregulation, emotional regulation, right? If they don't feel secure in that relationship or secure, that person loves them, they'll be a fucking mess. Or if they're even in a bad mood. Sassy, you will not be boring and dull if you do a live. I promise. You're fun. I watch your videos. Oh, Rich said he already started. Fuck yeah, Rich. I assume you mean making a book. That's good shit. Can somebody have a group of favorite persons, and would that be healthier? Ooh. Mar, if you could answer that, I'm curious. Jabe, do you think in pictures, words, or both? I can think in pictures, but it's not a default. I have an inner monologue that is usually my default. I hate the term discard. What's wrong with breakup? Right, because discard is basically just a breakup. Sure, there might, because of the circumstances around it, it might be a little bit more emotionally intense. But, like, it is just a breakup. Same with, like, I have a similar quarrels with hoovering, because it's like, okay, they're reaching out. Love bombing, I think, is more appropriate because it is something that we do, but it implies that it's like this intentional thing. No, we just think we're fucking in love with them and we'll chase them to the end of the earth. Gaslighting, I wouldn't have an issue with if it weren't for the fact that people conflate gaslighting and just lying, because those are very different things. Romantic obsession is a drug used as an escape, yeah. Wait, Grand, are you NPD or BPD? Idealizing an ex after breaking up with them is not unusual in normal people. Nothing like distance is very desired. Yeah. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. I answer why I comb my hair. Anything can be addicting. Amen, TJ. Amen. See, Ruth, like, it's interesting. Sassy is talking about how you like that you point out that's normal. It's, this is so, I mentioned this in a live before. KFK is here. What's going on? It's really funny because, like, it's good for me to know what's normal and what's not. But, like, and don't take what I'm about to say as an offense because, like, you literally did nothing wrong. But it always feels almost invalidating when somebody says something I do is normal. I'm like, no, it's not normal. I'm a narcissist. Everything I do is different than people. I think my narcissism, because, like, people will be like, a lot of narcissists will have that thing where, like, they've gone through more emotional trauma than anybody in the world. And their problems are so much harder. Also, hi, IDK. And stuff like that. I think I do that with my narcissism, I'm not going to lie. Even though my narcissism is a fucking bitch, And it is painful. I think I do that to a certain degree. Would you ever do drunk karaoke, or would you be too concerned what people would think about you? I have done drunk karaoke before. I don't mind it because I'm not super insecure about. I do think that I am an okay singer, at least compared to people I know. Even though everybody I know is in choir except for me. Alive with Sassy would be great. Yes. Ideation early relationships also normal. I made a video. Okay, Ruth, I agree. In that case, though, I think with cluster Bs, it's a lot more intense in that case. Jake, do you ever think about if you that you did have empathy? How would you realize that you didn't? I realized I didn't so early on that I never really considered it. Well, I did consider it for a while because I was like, oh, what even is empathy, right? Like, there's no way people just feel other people's emotions. That's stupid. I feel shame when I hurt people. I must feel empathy to some degree. But no, I never seriously considered it. Because like even when I was like a young kid, I realized that like I got annoyed when people were crying at a funeral. I thought they were just being dramatic. You resemble Robert Downey Jr. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm not sure if that was meant as a compliment, but I'm taking it as one. You're going to Papua New Guinea, Countess Karen. That's that's insane. I'm jealous of you. Do you have anxiety when talking to women that are thinking you're unattractive? Not necessarily when I'm talking to women, but yeah, like that is why I seek constant validation because I get so insecure. Like I can't feel good about myself. I can't just look in a mirror and be like, oh, well, I do actually. But like I need people to constantly be telling me that I'm attractive and stuff so I can even believe it. Last time I heard you wanted to stop making videos because you were seeking attention. Not really. When did I say that? Oh, when I was like thinking about like, I said that I wanted to stop making videos because I was ashamed of something. I didn't say I was going to. Oh, MCMJ is here. Would a narcissist come back to a borderline ex if she mortified him? Yep. That's why we always do come back to borderlines. It's constant. It's constant. TJ made a good point about you doing a live sassy. Yeah, like you could just come on, like that's what Tess wanted to do. Like you come on for just like a half hour, and if it gets overwhelming, you can leave. Oh, Susie is going. Bye. I'm glad you stopped by. Good night. How can I be a good friend to a narcissist who doesn't know he's a narcissist? Can I read him like an open book? I wonder if I can do anything to help him feel like his life is less superficial. Fuck. If he's not self-aware, it's hard to say. I would say like, how I put it. Honestly, if he's not self-aware, I would honestly advise just not making his mask, so to speak, feel threatened, if I'm being honest. I feel like that's the only way you can really be a good friend to an unaware narcissist. Maybe if you're like loyal to him and stuff like that, or you make him respect you, he might open up to you a little bit. I wouldn't count on it though, because that takes a lot of specific things. Yeah, I think of multiple things at once sometimes. I've heard BPD people can have more than one FP, but never have more than one personally. Yeah, I've never seen that before. Can diagnose MPD not be grandiose? Technically, yes, but like, I think it's impossible for them not to have some covert grandiosity. Like, if somebody presents vulnerably, they'll still have grandiose moments. I have a theory that most relationships that deal with people within the clusters are not with normies because the normies have boundaries. It's usually with both parties that have something. I think we're more attracted to each other. I'm not sure if it's because of boundaries. I know that we don't really understand boundaries. I don't. Fucking what are boundaries? Boundaries are stupid. I'm joking. But, I mean, that could be a factor. Neither have heavy NPD traits, though. Okay. What makes gaslighting better than lying, your opinion? I wouldn't say better. But gaslighting is convincing somebody that they're insane as to achieve a goal, which is distinct from lying, in my opinion. I think it's a more, I wouldn't say sophisticated version of, take the movie Gaslight, for example. What he did was he kept telling this woman that she didn't turn off this lamp when she really did and got mad at her over it. And he would go and turn it back on because he was trying to get her committed to a mental health asylum so that he could, like, take her inheritance or something. That's gaslighting, while lying is just usually one-off and isn't for the purpose of making somebody feel insane. How and why do you act like your awful words and actions don't matter? Because it's over afterwards. It's like we're past it. It's done. Are you misogynist as a narcissist? Why would that be even related? Would you let one of us, me, interview you? Probably. I'm supposed to be interviewed by somebody who's one of my viewers, and I keep forgetting about it. I gotta fucking message him back. I keep forgetting. And I have to be interviewed by Linda, too. Fuck, I am so bad. If you're single, somebody offered you a dating show options and the promise of finding your soulmate be appealing to you, I guess, fuck yeah. I fantasized about that before. Oh, God, yeah. I would love to do that. Be on The fucking Bachelor. Honestly, with The Bachelorette, I caused so many problems. It'd be so funny. Oh, is Backpack leaving? Bye, Backpack. I hope everything's cool. Where do you think the over-anxious perception of your appearance stems from? I mean, it wasn't, my parents didn't call me ugly ever. It's just like a general sense of worthlessness. I'm insecure about literally everything. Like, there's not a single thing in my life I'm not insecure about and don't need constant validation for. It's just kind of innate. It's just like everything about myself is worthless, and it feels as obvious as that my hair is, God damn it, bad example, as obvious as my shirt is black. Do you think empaths and narcissists have a lot in common? I don't think narcissists are codependent. I really do not think that's the case. We're reliant on self-esteem juice, but no, we're not codependent. I have a dismissive, avoidant attachment, well, disorganized, but primarily dismissive, avoidant. I think people who say narcissists are codependent are kind of misinterpreting things. In my relationships, I make my partners feel replaceable accidentally because, like, I act like they don't matter. Because I'm so flippant of their needs and so distant. And also, I don't know if you can, I don't know what you mean by empath, basically, because, like, there's people with, like, higher, like, it's not a homogenous group, it's just people with higher emotional empathy. And I don't really buy into the whole empaths and narcissists attract each other thing. During the Hoover, I emailed my ex-narc saying I wanted to be with him, but let's take it slow and make sure he's healthy before committing again. Well, that's hurt his ego and led him to discard. Not with me. I don't think I would have ever had that hurt my ego. But then again, I've always recognized that I always wanted to work on myself, and that for a lot of times I'm not healthy. I can see somebody taking that as, if he thought that he was healthy, I can see taking that as, what are you saying about me? You fucking asshole. Mask is probably not threatening. The mask is probably acting as though the mask is a true self. Never make it seem like you can see through it. Yeah, yeah. I agree with Backpack 100%. Yeah, like, because I assume that's referring to how to be a good friend to an unaware narcissist. Yeah, like, you have to act in accordance with the mask. That's the thing. Like, if they're not aware, and hell, even for me, it's hard. Like, you can't threaten the mask, or that's going to push him away, or he's going to push you away. Thanks, Jay, for setting up a live with Sassy. I actually, I actually emailed her asking to do one once, but she was in a good place, so I was like, so we want to do it later. Oh. MCMJ said, empaths often have BPD, I believe. I would say I don't think that's always the case, but yes, I do think that a lot of them are BPD and just don't realize it. I had this, someone with narcissistic grandeurs was somebody who actually was super confident and liked themselves, but I didn't actually know they were people who had really low self-esteem, yes. Psychopaths actually have really high self-esteem and are also grandiose, but they genuinely believe it. Yeah, narcissists, and I'm not 100% sure, I think narcissists to some degree always are aware of their self-hate to some degree. I know I always was somewhat aware of that. It was like always in the back of my head, at least. I'm unbanned from Reddit now. I'll check it. Sassy, how did you get banned from Reddit? That's hilarious. I think lying can affect gaslighting if the person being lied to has a fragile sense of reality already. I think it can have the same effect as gaslighting if they do, if that makes sense. Is gaslighting always intentional or can it be related to the narc's ill need to always protect their own ego? Oh, hands down, it's to protect the... Again, I think the most common form of gaslighting is when something happens and you need to be, and we're trying to be like, and then like we try to dismiss it, I like apologize, or oh, Breck, what's up? I try to apologize, or I say like, oh, like, or make a joke or a gift, and then they bring it up later because they're still hurt and haven't, like, what's the word? They're hurt and it's like, but yeah, so you're hurt and you want to actually fix it, and then narcissists are going to be like, oh, well, like, why are you bringing this up again? Like, you're trying to shame me. And then they're going to probably, like, minimize it or dismiss it or say it wasn't that bad, and that can come off as gaslighting. I went head-to-head with a Borderline mod because she was bullying other Borderlines. Good for you, Sassy. Good fucking for you. Bye, Sassy. Mods on Reddit take themselves too seriously sometimes. It reminds me of that scene from The Office where Jim is like, I have never seen such little power go to somebody's head before. Jabe, did you ever brutally discard someone that you dated? If so, what made it get to that point? Never somebody that I dated. I've brutally discarded people that were my friends because I felt like they were either mistreating me or were mad at me for a stupid reason that I didn't know what it was and they weren't talking to me. Or that I think I already said abandoned me and stuff like that. Like, I will send cutting texts. I will hit every single one of their insecurities. I did that to somebody about a year ago, and I still think that she deserved it. Bye, Ricky. What is the largest misconception of outward viewpoints that people consistently get wrong? Like, in behaviors about narcissism, Because I would say the main one is like that we're intentionally preying on people. Because that's not true. Like, and I don't really understand. Like, I get it. Like, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and so like it's easy. And like because a lot of these articles say that we're doing that, I can see how easy it would be to like actually assume that that's true, but we aren't. Like love bombing is because we genuinely have this intense emotional connection to them, or at least we think we do, and we're pursuing them. Or we, or like the discard. It's not because we like are planning it out or want to hurt them. It's because in our heads we're like, oh my god, what if they're not my soulmate? What if there's somebody out there better than me for me? What if like I'm going to miss out on the person who really is my soulmate? And so we get in our heads and discard. Or hoovering is just like, it's just reaching out to somebody. It's not like, and not always are we trying to get back with them. Sometimes it might be because they do want to apologize. I'd say most of the time it's because for me, it's always kind of been like, I always still want my exes in my life. I don't know really why. I think I just need people to like me. Thanks for acknowledging. We will talk about our upcoming live stream. Yes, of course. Also, I thought about what you were saying about how a big part of your thing is about men being vulnerable and giving them a space to be able to do that. I was thinking like I could probably give tips on being vulnerable. And I could like, sorry, I got an email and I was just reading that real quick. And because like vulnerability is something I struggle with so much. So I could talk about what made that easier for me that I feel like could be applied to like cultural association around men not being able to be vulnerable and stuff like that. Empaths or BPD now? I would say not always, because I think there's normal people with above average emotional empathy too, but I would say more than people think. How many black shirts do you own? I'm guessing 17. I own a lot of black shirts. Bye, Mar. So narcissists can't be codependent or only if they have underlying BPD traits. I would say the latter. I have never met a codependent, because like we need to be distant from people, right? Emotional vulnerability is not something that we do. I feel like if they are codependent, the underlying BPD traits are very necessary. The unstable subtype, I'm telling you guys. I'm an empath. Can you emotionally detect me watching you at night? God damn it, Grant. That's funny. Oh, did Grant leave? Oh, no. Margaret said bye to him because she was leaving. Do you think that your past actions don't matter because it's over mentally as a mechanism to defend yourself from guilt, or do you think there's another reason? I think you're on the right track. I think it's defend myself from shame, right? I'm acting, as Andrew McBride pointed out, it's like going against my morals. It's making me feel like a bad person, blah, blah, blah. So to kind of compartmentalize that, right? It wasn't that bad. It's over now. Like, whatever. Do you think the representation in narcissism in American Psycho has a bad representation? Narcissism? Do narcissists actually internally view themselves as godly? Two things. One, yes, it's a bad representation because he's a murderer. Not to say murderers can't have NPD, but that's just not a typical, that's obviously like such a small percentage. Like, when I say small, I mean like 0.000001% or something like that. Internally as godly, though. See, he would be a narcissist if he also had major self-criticism internally, unless he was so well defended against it. I think the insecurity and envy and stuff like that, he had narcissistic traits that were super like evident, but you gotta remember factor one, psychopathy. They're genuinely grandiose. They genuinely believe in their superiority. So I think the psycho portion of the title might apply more. Do you experience people seeing through your mask? Rarely. That's happened. When I was unaware, I don't think it ever happened. When I was self-aware, being self-aware, I try to make people see through my mask because I want them to, but I also can't do that openly, if that makes sense. So nowadays, kind of, but there's not much there. I think the only time when I was unaware was when I tell a story all the time. When like my ex saw me sobbing into a toilet vomiting from shame and alcohol, crying that I was defective and broken. I think that's the closest that anybody's ever seen through my mask. Not that I'm aware. Does your narcissism stem from childhood or something else? Yes, childhood. Any sort of trauma can bring out narcissism. I think there's a genetic predisposition component, but yes. Yes. Oh, that's fun. Nameless Jacob, we named our climbing gear. The pieces you plug into the rock, I recognize their life-saving importance. A new cam was named Nameless for a period later, Nameless George. Ah, I love that. That's funny. Yes, that means you won, Ricky. I'm so good at gaslighting. I gaslight myself. Same. If a narcissist is relying on a favorite person, would you consider that a codependency issue? Oh, fuck yes. If they had a favorite person, well, first of all, they would have BPD traits, but that would be codependency, hands down. Honestly, I think codependency is so integral to BPD like 90% of the time. The Office is an awesome show. I like it. I wouldn't say it, I don't know, I have mixed feelings on it. Like, I feel like with The Office, this is going to be a weird tangent, is that it's a really good show, but it's completely overhyped. I think that I feel like I would like it more if it wasn't so like amazing. It's funny. Jacob, as a narcissist personally, is monogamy difficult for you? It's difficult when there's an attractive woman hitting on me and I need to prove to myself that I can have them, right? When there's an opportunity for self-esteem juice from something like that, then it is difficult. Other than that, I would never want to be in a polyamorous relationship. Never. I couldn't deal with the humiliation of having of somebody else being with somebody despite being with me. Do narcissists push a partner away if they don't want them to get hurt? Yes, but I think more commonly it's to avoid shame. But yes, that can happen. Do you need BPD or codependent traits to end up in a trauma bonded dynamic? I would personally say not necessarily, because somebody can get broken down by gaslighting, but I like your thought. I don't think so at all. I think that hands down somebody can get trauma bonded no matter what their predisposition is. I mean, hell, with my borderline ex, I would say I was trauma bonded. I think it's more about I think trauma bonding is more about the highs and lows of those relationships and how addictive that can be, rather than the attachment style. I'm also quite impressed by your vulnerability. I even feel some normal people don't have it to such a degree. I mean, I feel like it's complicated, but I feel like that's because it's actually a problem I've been encountering, is that a lot of the things I talk about that are inherently vulnerable don't feel vulnerable anymore because I'm talking about them. Like, my vulnerable aspects of myself, I would say the only time I felt genuinely vulnerable, and I think about taking down the video all the time, is when I talked about my childhood. Because I hate it. I hate it. I hate that I showed any emotion. I feel like showing emotion still feels vulnerable to me. But just talking about my inner thought process, the shitty things that I do, it doesn't feel vulnerable anymore. Okay, it looks like I finally got with the chat. That's awesome. Why do some narcissists have a savior complex? Well, think about it. I think a savior complex is inherent in NPD. If you're a god, you're not just smiting people. You're helping people. And we view ourselves as helping people. Right? And like that does wonders for self-esteem regulation. It's honestly better to get self-esteem regulation by helping people than being self-aggrandizing. I've heard that all psychopaths are narcissists, while narcissists are psychopaths, which makes sense. I see the logic behind it. I disagree with the wording, though. I would say that all narcissists and psychopaths are grandiose, but psychopaths and narcissists are separate constructs entirely. Because psychopaths have a genuine sense of grandiosity. It's not defensive. They just actually think they're better than people. So I think that they're too separate to really lump together like that, personally. Is it possible to grow self-love to once you're self-aware? I am figuring that out. Probably not. I don't know, honestly. Yeah, people seeing me cry is intolerable. I hate it. How narcissists manage to confuse a victim? What do you mean? Like, I don't know. I don't really try to confuse people. There's no purpose for me trying to confuse somebody. I only cry when I rage. Felt. Yeah, you're right. And like ostensibly, it is vulnerability, right? Linda, it is vulnerability. It just because everything feels fake and like a lie, when I'm actually talking about something, it makes it feel like it's not actually vulnerable anymore. Like you'll notice that a lot of times when I'm being vulnerable, I'm saying it pretty coldly and callously, or laughing about it, because it just doesn't feel vulnerable anymore. Lock picking again. This lock always gives me problems. What would you call it instead? Callously describing myself, honestly. Which sucks. But, just part of the process. I really want to, how do I put it? I really want to fucking start branching out to other personality disorders. I'm making a video on that soon. I've heard NPD gets worse with age. Do you think yours get harder to manage? I think for the unawares it does. I think because with the unawares, it's like they realize their grandiose fantasies are never going to... Actually, in old age is when a lot of narcissists go into therapy. Not old age, but like as they approach middle age to late middle age. Because like you're realizing that, oh my God, my grandiose fantasies aren't going to come true. Right? So you start getting depressed. You start becoming hopeless. And so and that's why a lot go into therapy. So yeah, I think for unaware narcissists, hands down. But for me, since I'm self-aware, I doubt it. So I hear a lot of people. I want to point out that because somebody's worried they're a narc because of lack of empathy or selective empathy. Normal people can lack empathy, just as narcs can have empathy. You need to look at all the other traits too. Make sure it's a pattern across your life and that affects every aspect of your life. Did your PTSD exasperate your NPD or not really? Good question. I don't know, but I personally think that 99% of people with NPD also have PTSD. Personally, I think the only thing that exasperates is the emotional dysregulation. Other than that, I can't see how it would really affect it. How narcissists find each other and form gangs? Like, what the fuck do you mean? I met one narcissist in my life. One. Narcissists are fucking rare. I don't know why people think that we can form gangs. Sure, maybe some of them will have narcissistic traits, right? I'm not finding other narcissists, though. I can't find other narcissists. I wish I could find more narcissists. Oh, we're referring to your real life when you talk about people seeing through that mask. Yes, it's an emotional side. Like when I'm completely emotionally dysregulated is the only time I feel real. My ex-narcissist is still in hiding since November after I unmasked and threatened to expose him. I wonder how he's able to stay away so long. When you need more supply, one person isn't enough. I agree. Somebody pointed out that earlier that vulnerable, like some more vulnerable presenting narcs that are introverted, will just kind of take on a mindset of, oh, I'm too good for other people, nobody's worthy. And that makes sense to me. I never really have gotten that personally. But in that case, I imagine it would be that he or she is in a situation where the shame is more powerful than the desire for self-esteem juice to stave off that shame. Like the potential shame by like coming back out of hiding, basically. A few very good friendships or relationships is certainly a big factor. I agree. Is PTSD the cause of narcissism? In my opinion, yes. I think that personality disorders are just advanced forms of CPTSD or from childhood. How your emotions feel the rest of the time? Do you see yourself at a distance or not see yourself at all? I would say not at all. It's interesting because I'll have like brief moments of emotion, like my car or something, then off, done, like instantly. It just feels foreign most of the time. I just feel kind of numb and empty. Echo's here. What's going on, Echo? Oh, Echo. God. Echo, you've been fucking around forever. Like, you were one of my first, like, I'm like thinking back, you were one of like my first subscribers. Oh my gosh. Jacob, did you get any thought to prolonged exposure therapy? Like to shame? My life is exposure therapy to shame. I could not, God no. Oh God no. I every single shameful moment in my life, I go over in my head almost daily, and it's crippling sometimes. I was so ashamed at my last job that it took like a long time for me to be willing to even try at a job again. Does this get better with time for you? Define better. I'm able to handle it better, but there's a lot of it that just hasn't really changed, and I'm not sure if it ever will change, which is sad. Maybe one day. I want to leave, but Echo, like, I'm getting ready to go, but like Echo just got here, and I'm like, I gotta stay on for a little bit longer now. How would you define shame? Like self-hate, feeling like I'm flawed, and like just like this really negative emotion in me that just like fucking affects me so hard. I wish I could describe the emotion, like how it feels. I'm so good at lockpicking. Bye, KFK. I don't know, it's just like this feeling in my chest that's intolerable. It's like, it feels parallel to anxiety almost. Can you talk about revenge? What about it? Because basically revenge for me is just kind of like a natural thing. It's like, oh, you hurt me. Revenge deserves to happen. I know it's not healthy, and I even discourage people here from like pursuing revenge, especially against like their narc or whatever. But it doesn't feel wrong. It feels like justice. Like, imagine any time that you've seen, like, I don't know, some dude try to rob a store, like a video, and then, like, the guy behind the counter pulls out a gun, and, like, the guy gets arrested or something. It feels like that. It just feels like justice. Do you have narcissistic rage moments? Not anymore. I haven't in a while, at least. I'm sure I'll have another one at some point, but I haven't in, like, almost a year. Narcissistic rage is weird. It's like everything just doesn't matter, except like I'm completely running off of instinct. I feel like borderlines might be able to relate to that. Like there's no higher thought processes, just emotion. Narcissistic injury, like it's just the shame, right? It's just that intense shame that gets brought up. It's like somebody insults me and it reminds me of everything bad about myself that I'm hiding from and that I hate about myself. Oh man, I'm sorry I've been kind of boring this stream. I've just been in a mood. For everybody who missed that, the fact that I'm in a mood earlier in the stream. Do you define yourself by your actions? Yeah. I don't understand how else you would define yourself. Like, I am just whatever I am in the moment. Whatever I'm doing in the moment is who I am. Like, I remember when I injured my ex and he raged at me and blamed me for causing him to feel bad. That's a big one too, like externalizing emotions. That's a big reason that revenge is so common, right? You hurt me and it's probably on accident. I'm blaming you for having made these emotions in me, even though my emotions are my own problems. I can't recognize that the emotions are just coming from me. It's you made me feel shitty. Therefore, it's your fault. And a lot of the times I assume it's intentional. But yeah, I do define myself by my actions. Again, I don't know how else to define myself other than it's what I'm doing in the moment and how people describe me is how I define myself. Oh, I'm glad. Thank you, Morgan. Because, like, I watch Sarah's live sometimes, and she'll go into this really depth thing about each question. And I feel like I'm just so surface level sometimes compared to it. Maybe I'm just more concise or can't draw on as many experiences. But, like, it makes me insecure. I think Sarah's lives are way better than mine. Thank you, Cassandra. Is it Cassandra or Cassandra? Because it looks like it's spelled Cassandra, but Cassandra is more common. Thank you, Danny. You guys are very kind. Thank you. See, you can see my self-consciousness in action right now. Cassandra? Okay. You get the memory of it. Breck, what are you referring to that? I said you don't get anything beyond just to say. It is a waste of time. I agree 100%, Linda. It's just not healthy. Revenge only perpetuates a cycle of abuse and hurt. 100%. Thank you, Lupus. You guys are so nice to me. It's so weird. Like, I was thinking about it, like, my Christmas stream, and I was like, wow, that's the first time I've ever felt wanted on Christmas. It was very interesting. I love my Christmas stream. Thank you. If Ruth is still here, thank you, Ruth, for stopping by. I'm not smoking a Juul anymore, but that's funny. In California they banned Juuls? That's fucking insane. Or Canada. Yeah, I switched to this thing, Enjoy, because I tried quitting, didn't work, and now I'm just on the lowest level of this. Thank you, Moonder. Ugh. Yeah, thanks, Karen. I thought it was like a really good idea just because it was like, oh, like, who of all of us is actually going to be, like, you know, we're a lot of broken people here. A lot of broken people. I would think I would describe myself as what I am rather than my actions. This might be quite unrelatable for people with NPD. Maybe it's not for all people with NPD, but it's definitely, like, unrelatable for me. Because I guess it's just because I don't know what I really am. It's weird. How am I anything but my action? How come I say I catfished my narc after the friendship ended? It was specifically making... Bro, I can't judge. I'm not going to say it's healthy, but I can't judge you. No more menthol flavors? That's the only thing I fucking... So I could never go to California. Unless I quit. Your vulnerability is very... Thank you, Cassandra. Like, I'm glad... That's a big thing I'm glad about. Because, like... The people that I help is very varied, but I especially, but like a big one is when I help my fellow cluster Bs feel less alone because I know how that feels, and like I feel like people who have been in relationships or had narcissistic family members also can relate to like the idea of like, you know, a lot of you guys probably were very confused by the relationships because I am never like, because like people like me are very confusing, right? You probably had no fucking idea what was going on and like why that was happening. And so then you find other people who experience similar things and you're like, oh, I'm not fucking crazy. And like it feels really good to have somebody to relate to on that level. And then for like cluster Bs, it's very similar when we meet other cluster Bs because we're like, oh my God, people who make sense. People who aren't like just weird and like I feel less alone now. When I document myself, remind myself, compare myself, not to my mistakes, but the person I was yesterday and to progress since yesterday. Ooh, that's a good idea. I might try doing that. Have you tried Nick patches? Yeah, but I think it's more about the oral fixation for me. Like, it's just not satisfying. How much do you make your parents responsible for your actions? My actions or my disorder? My disorder, my disorder, I blame completely on my parents, more or less. My actions, I try to take responsibility for. I'm not bored, TJ. I'm just in a mood. But I'm glad you're looking forward to it, TJ. Do you have a narc parent? I do not. My dad had OCD and my mom has HPD traits, but she's not pathological, I don't think. The pain in your chest to me feels like a void and it's so hard to fill. Yep. Fucking completely goddamn empty. Do narcs ruminate a lot or just move on from situations because they're in the past? Oh, I ruminate all the fucking time. I think about all the people who wronged me, all the people who abandoned me, people I felt betrayed by, etc., etc., etc. I am such a ruminator. Like, there's people who have been out of my life for, like, literally there's some people who've been out of my life for 5 years who I still ruminate and, like, resent. God, it makes me... I'm just thinking about some of them now. And some of them I know it's irrational, but I'm still angry about it. Some of them I know were not at all. I think you're doing a good job of destigmatizing NPD. Thank you. When I try to understand NPD, I only found very dehumanizing descriptions on the internet. Yeah. It's a fucking shame, honestly. Like, because that was a big purpose of me starting this channel, was destigmatization. It's definitely grown in range since then. Like, I'm way more about helping people who have been in relationships with cluster Bs too now. But like, again, because we can be confusing and hurtful. But like, fuck, and it's so hard to find real information about NPD. You have to dive so deep into literature and books and shit like that. And like you said, I believed it at first, but I moved on from that. I don't blame you at all. I don't blame anybody for thinking narcissists are monsters, because especially if, like, you know, it's not that big, like, if you're not super interested in it, because it's like, how can you expect to have any opinions other than that when everything on the internet is so just like, narcissists are evil manipulators, they hurt everybody, they're preying on people, like, blah, 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 blah. I don't blame a single person for having a negative opinion of people with NPD for that reason. I try to be very patient with, unless people are like straight up attacking me or questioning my dad, not questioning, but like accusing me of faking. I try to be way more understanding. You're the nicest narcissist I've seen. Hey, in fairness, you don't know me in real life. No, I try my best though. I think I came a long way. I came a long way from how I used to be. In the past, have you ever sought justice against someone who didn't deserve it and realized it later on? Do you feel a sense of true remorse for what you did or shame for having made the wrong decision? Mainly shame. Like, I've been in places where, like, yeah, I've definitely done that. I'm trying to think of a good example right now. It's mainly shame because it's, like, embarrassing. And, like, I, like, just fucked up. Also, thank you, TJ, to everybody hit the like button. Thank you. We're all monsters one way or another. Amen. Hey, fucking man. Or we're all Or we all can be monstrous, I guess it might be more accurate. I think that Nameless has cost himself a relationship about lack of accountability. She's been out. That Nameless S has cost himself a relationship about herself. Nameless S. Oh, Sarah. Oh, you mean Sarah? Because they're back together, and then they're back together, and she like did take accountability after that relationship. If that's who you're talking about, I might be wrong. I've ever dated somebody in hopes they would fix you. That's more borderline, but kind of. It's more for me. It's like seeing past the mask. You know what I mean? It's like I'm putting on this facade all the time, and I want somebody to like deep down, and like it's so contradictory because I'll push people away for trying to tear it off, but like somewhere in me, I want them to rip it off and see me for who I really am, and tell me I'm not a monster, and maybe not even not tell me I'm not a monster, but tell me that I am a monster, and that's okay. That they still love me despite me being a monster. Does that make sense? Lupus, what? Never mind. Yeah, the internet's portrayal of narcissism is one size fits all. If it does apply, oh hey Sandra, if it does apply to narcissism, it applies like purely to malignant narcissism, all the crap on the internet. Why narcissists see us as an object? This one's always been hard for me because I don't consider other people's feelings really, because it just doesn't even occur to me. And it's like, yeah, they're just people there. They're like bunnies hopping around doing whatever. I guess it's just because I think a big part of it is because I see that people don't interact the same way I would. And I think that they still want the things that I do, but they're just not doing it in a smart way. So I just kind of look down on them and think they're kind of stupid. That might be part of it. Like, they barely seem like real people. Does your GF understand or accept your narcissism, or does she struggle to grasp what's going on in your head? She doesn't. She knows what goes on in my head, and she accepts that. She doesn't. I don't think she, like, understands it as in, like, she struggles to grasp what's going on, like, why I feel the way that I do, and she doesn't relate to it. But she does accept it, which I think is the best that I can expect from somebody who is not a narcissist. Oh, you didn't mean it like that at all. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Shannon. I was projecting. Bugs and bunnies. Are you guys attracted to people with talent? Why are you trying to put them down? Why? Because they're better than me. And I feel like they shouldn't be. Like, well, it depends. If it's something, so I have to be the best. So if somebody's good at something that I also really enjoy, it pisses me off. I'm usually pretty good about not articulating that, because I know that people don't like it when I do that. But I need to be the best at it. And then if somebody is good at something, I still need to be better than them. So I'll be like, oh yeah, but like anybody could do that. Oh yeah, like sure they're really good at that, but like whatever I'm doing is more important. Because like, and like in the moment we genuinely believe it. We do believe it, but it's all about self-esteem regulation, right? I need to be the best. The best. I think the description of narcissists on the internet confuse symptoms with the causes. Yes! I used to say that all the time. Like, sometimes they get the outward behaviors correct, but the reasonings behind it completely off. I have so rarely seen articles that are, like, it's even hard to find articles that are like, oh, they actually hate themselves. That's why they do that. Like, even that is kind of hard to find. Yeah, definitely a grotesque caricature. Yeah, and that's a healthy thing to do. People aren't all good or all bad. They can just do good or bad things. But it's like, I don't know if you relate to this, Cassandra, but like, when you, it's like, when I'm painting somebody all black or all good, even if they do something good, it's like it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? It's like, if it feels like if somebody killed your dog, but they offer to take you out to dinner. Like, that gesture doesn't matter, but that applies to like everything I paint somebody black. Does that make sense? What do you like about your partner, Jacob? That she is. I think we may have talked about this, Ruth. That like, I'm not sure. I don't think we did. I don't know. That I view her as like almost perfectly virtuous, like and genuine, and all the things that I couldn't be. I'm coming to realize though that like, just because somebody's a good person doesn't mean that they're good for you, which is something I've been struggling with recently. But whatever. I need a romance story. I should make a video on it. Wait, one sec. Let me. One could argue that there's no objective good or bad on responsibility towards other people. Yes, I agree, 100%. That's accurate. But I don't know why, but and it's black and white thinking, sure. But in my head, it's just like, there is good and bad. It's just that there is. I'm trying to think of a good romance story. My romance stories are pretty boring. I'm attracted to somebody, I pursue them for a while, and I kiss them. Then we date, or don't. I'm trying to think if there's any that like stick out. I would have to think about it. Maybe I'll make a video. I'm at the age where more people are getting divorced than married. That's such a sad sentence, Ruth. That's funny, though. Jim, do you think that you would understand boundaries better if overstepping boundaries equal doing something bad towards somebody else? Yes, that is how I rationalize boundaries. Because I had a friend who it would violate her boundaries if I would like just randomly just rant about something in a very angry way. And so we talked about it, and I didn't think, oh, it's violating boundaries. I thought, oh, I'm doing something bad to this person. So yes, that was a really good way to put it. That was interesting. What's the one thing you did that knocked your GS socks off that she melted when you did it? God, have I ever been that good of a partner to anybody? I mean, honestly, my partner right now has such low standards for partners. It's like everything that I do. I really just gotta think about that and put it in a video. Isn't your borderline your most iconic story? Fuck yeah, it is. That's one hell of a... Maybe I should make a new video on that. Do you feel empathy or still not after self-awareness? I don't feel empathy still. How can you show a narcissist that you still care about them, but from a distance? I feel bad for cutting them off. Fuck, that's a good question. And I'll be honest, if they're not self-aware, you might not be able to. Because for me, when somebody cuts me off, they're telling me that you're not good enough and that I hate you. That's what I hear when somebody cuts me off. Like, it's almost incomprehensible for me that somebody can cut me off and still love me. Which I am sorry for. I'm sorry that that's the... and he probably does miss you in his own way, but he's probably viewing it... It might just be his ego that makes him miss you. I'm still trying to figure that out. If you cut him off especially, he probably thinks about you way more than he should. But yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think there is a way to do that for somebody that's not self-aware. Is there any space that you feel completely safe, where your ego cannot be hurt? Nope. Sorry, no. Narcissist, how about the old? Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's really. That one I can. That one. But like, if you, I won't believe that. I think you're lying to me if you're estranged. Well, I guess maybe you could reframe that. I'm trying to think if you could reframe that. I guess you might be able to, if you like took that statement, I know there are parts of you that you hide from others, and I try to love all the parts of you, and like I'm not sure if I'll ever know all of you, and then, but it's not healthy for me or you if we are close to one another. Maybe that could work. I'm not sure if I believe it, because I view cutting somebody off as like the work, as like an act of vindictiveness that like there's no recovery from. I don't fake empathy to get attention. I fake it to fit in so that people don't think I'm weird. And doing something bad to hurting somebody, I think, do you think narcissists don't understand boundaries because they can't distinguish between somebody hurting them and childhood pain surfing? Yeah, I think that we can't tell when somebody hurts us on purpose or on accident. Like, we can't distinguish it. Like, I usually assume somebody hurt me on purpose, and then I blame them for causing the emotions. But, I'm thinking about that more. And I guess you could argue that those things are probably brought because of childhood pain and suffering and stuff like that. It's hard to say, though. Because we experience things very strongly. Are there emotions you have a hard time expressed or never expressed or understood? Yes. I don't understand guilt. And alexithymia makes it way worse. Way worse. I don't understand guilt. That's the main one. Remorse, I question if I feel or not. Again, alexithymia. Trying to think of other emotions I struggle to feel. I struggle to feel all emotions, but those are the only ones I don't think I ever... I think those are the only ones that I ever, like, thought about. That, like, I never actually felt. Or, thank you. The effort put towards accountability is appreciated the way you... thank you. I'm glad. After self-awareness, does your ego get under control? I think it may have gotten worse. It's like, I'm a self-aware narcissist. I'm working on myself. I'm going to be the most healthy person in the world. Which I think that's a good way to put, a good place to put into that empathy. To the good direction to put that grandiosity, right? I'm going to be the most healthy person in the world. I'm going to help the most people in the world. Does it matter if it's on purpose, hurting somebody, I mean? For me, it does, yeah. I heard this really good example on Reddit once where this guy was in a fight with his girlfriend, and he was like, oh, you're overreacting. I didn't even mean to hurt you this time. And then she replied very funnily. She was like, I'm glad you put it that way, because I've never once tried to hurt you, you asshole. And, that's a substantial difference to me, but I don't think I ever can tell. Like, I can forgive people more easily if I know for certain it was on accident. Have you ever a hard time picking up sarcasm when somebody is insulting you? Sarcasm constantly towards me, but I'm also defensive. Yeah, I know when it... I think it doesn't matter if I recognize it's sarcasm or not. I'm going to get defensive no matter what. Like, I think sarcasm just doesn't... Like, it doesn't matter if it's sarcastic or not. They still insulted me. Does that make sense? Ooh, okay, I'm going to wrap this up here. I'll answer like 3 more questions. Do you think you know what love is or I truly felt it? I think I felt it before. I'm not sure if I have or not. Does not doing something on purpose justify a hurtful action towards you? It doesn't justify it, but it's unforgivable. And if they did it on purpose, then I'm justified in fighting back. Does that make sense? Because to me, I view it as defending myself if I hurt them in retaliation for something important. I mean, that was intentional. What do you think about psychs, and is the effect different for psychedelics? For somebody with NPD, I think people overuse psychedelics and overstate the importance in treatment for mental health. I think that hands down. And I think people can be very irresponsible with them in their attempts to fix their mental health. As for how it affects people with NPD, I don't know if this is a me thing or an NPD. I hear some people say it does help them. For me, it's fun, and then towards the end of it, I get almost suicidal. Like, I get so down, I forget that it's not forever, which I think relates to the emotional permanence, right? I come down, and I think that's my forever, that I'm miserable and hate myself and want to die. And yeah, so I do not like psychedelics, not one bit. Well, I do like them, but I don't like... They're dangerous for me. Sarah, it's interesting because that's typically when my sarcastic bite back comes in. It does, yeah, for me it does. For me it definitely does too. But that bite back, see, the bite back will be pointed to under the guise of sarcasm, because I'm like, I'll say something like that, and I'll like it'll be very purposeful towards something that they're insecure about, but it's sarcastic. Say warm up in Ohio. Thank you. And it's awful here though, the coldness. My room was 54 degrees this morning. Do you feel the same way for ketamine treatments? Yeah, more or less. Thank you for your answers, Jacob. Thank you. Danny, you had some fucking good ones, dude. You were keeping me on my fucking toes. I wish I was in like a better headspace to answer some of those, because I was like, woo, goddamn. Thank you, Cassandra. One more question, guys. Again, I feel like this was one of my worst lives. I felt so boring today. Bye, Echo. Bye, Annika. I'm glad it's been great. Making so many tricky people in my past makes sense. Appreciate that so much. I'm glad. I know we're fucking confusing as hell. I don't know who asked a question about breakup with an unaware narc, but how about agreeing to being kind of drifted apart and it's better to be friends? Oh, through a breakup? Yeah, I think that is better. Because, like, I've heard people be like, oh, how do I stop being friends with a narc without hurting their feelings? And I think drifting away, not making it seem purposeful, is the best way to go about it. In terms of agreeing to having drifted apart, it's better to be friends. It depends how they're feeling about it. I would freak out if it was somebody who I was super invested in already, but if I was in that state of, oh, my soulmate's out there, you would say that, and I'd be like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm curious what that pattern is, Linda. But okay. I'm glad you had a nice time. Thank you, Morgan. But yeah, I will head off then. I'm tired. 130 minutes. Fuck me. Then I got this for 2 hours. But yeah, hope you all have a good day, guys. Take your fucking meds. I'm not vegan.